Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our special podcast, RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress. Do we have a very special show for you tonight? Something that is so very near and dear to my heart and that I have been a part of for the last 4 years, being very blessed. I have the crew and guest crew of the Impossible Dream Catamaran. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey.
I have been sailing with them for the past 4 years, and what they do is absolutely incredible, but I can't do it justice as they can. So let me have them introduce themselves to you, and then we can get the conversation started. Will, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hello. Hi, Tina. How you doing? Rob, our fellow crew member. Hey, how are you, Rob?
Hey, Will. Good to see you. Hi, Paulina.
I am the captain of the sailing vessel Impossible Dream. So the Impossible Dream is a 58-foot sailing catamaran, and it was completed in 2002. And it's this amazing boat that was designed from the ground up to be wheelchair accessible. So everything about the boat was designed for accessibility, and it's really amazing. They spared no expense and created a really amazing interactive machine that people can come on with a disability and feel totally at home and comfortable and independent.
It's absolutely incredible. I could literally ride my power wheelchair all the way around the boat. That I've done many, many, many times, and I love it. Paulina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
So I'm Paulina. I work as the first mate on the Impossible Dream, and I've been with the organization for 3 summers now. I just work for the summer voyage, which is our trip from Miami all the way up the East Coast, all the way to Maine and back down. And I'm a physical therapist by training. So that's how I got involved with, initially it was adaptive sports and adaptive sailing through Shake a Leg. And I got interested in that in PT school. And then I volunteered for Shake a Leg, which is an adaptive sailing organization in Miami. And that's where we're docked. This boat's docked in the winter. So I was just volunteering here. That's where we are right now, actually. And then I got connected with the Impossible Dream, found out about it, and found out that they needed a first mate with some medical background and experience with working with people with disabilities. So I learned a lot of the sailing part on my first year. And now after 3 years, I'm a bit more confident with that. And then also bring the physical therapy aspect into it. Not as though I'm doing treatments on the boat, but just things come up all the time when we have guest crew and we have people staying overnights or people that want to exercise. So both of those, the first mate stuff and the physical therapy stuff, come up all the time on the boat. So it's fun to combine those 2 interests. And I'm able to do that for the last 3 years. So I feel really lucky to be involved with an organization like this, something so amazing and unique.
And I'll tell you, I enjoy watching you and Will work because I've never watched 2 people work as hard as you do, pulling in the sails, putting out the sails, flipping things over. I don't know how you do it. I really don't, but it's amazing. Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Impossible Dream.
Hey, Tina. Thanks for doing this podcast. It's great that you're giving exposure to the Impossible Dream, and you're doing so many great things for disabled people with all of your different podcasts. So thanks for doing that. I was introduced to the Impossible Dream about 3 years ago. Will was racing to Mexico on the Impossible Dream. It does so many things. You know, it does do this East Coast tour, but it also does some racing. And they were racing out of St. Petersburg. And the boat was here, and I met Will and Deborah Mellon and a few other crewmates, and got to know them and just was in love with the boat. I love racing boats myself. I'm a C6-7 quadriplegic, and one of the first things that I got exposed to after my injury for some kind of recreational outlet was sailboats. And then eventually racing sailboats. And I absolutely love racing sailboats. I love being on the water as therapeutic outlet for me. And so when I met Will and Deborah, and she explained the mission to me, I was on board to do, whatever the impossible dream was going to do. I wanted to support in any way that I can. And that same year, this was 3 years ago, Will invited me to sail the boat from Miami around Cape Hatteras, which sailors will understand that's like a huge thing. It's like we were 120 miles outside of land, very far away from land. And then into the Chesapeake Bay, which is where I learned to sail. So it was kind of an amazing trip to be invited to be a part of as guest crew. And then we've done that a few times since then. It's been amazing. So.
The boat is absolutely amazing, and we can't go by without mentioning Deborah Mellon and Harry Horgan, because I got involved because me and Harry hooked up about 3.5 years ago. We started talking online, and he told me about the boat and invited me down, and I fell in love. And it is my year-round mission to support, promote, and anything I could possibly do for whatever they ask, I do, because their mission is so incredible. And like I said, it's like my sister organization. I work just as hard for the Impossible Dream as I do for my own ramp. That's how much I love it. Will, tell us a little about the history of the Impossible Dream and how it came to be.
So the Impossible Dream was built as a private yacht. The gentleman who constructed it, his name is Mike Brown, and he is in England. He lives in England, and he owns a chain of retail outlets of skiing equipment and climbing equipment. And so he's a very athletic guy, and he loves skiing, and he went out to the Austrian Alps to film a commercial for his company. And he was skiing in the commercial, and he skied off a cliff, and it's on video. He has video of his accident, and he fell somewhere between 50 and 100 meters and broke his back when he landed. So he became paraplegic. He's some T injury. I'm not sure exactly, but he's a very athletic, competitive guy. So he got into competitive sailing and sailed in 2.4s. And I believe he went to the Paralympics. So he was very excited about sailing and got into it. And, much like Rob, became a Paralympian. And he decided that he wanted a private yacht, a sailboat that he could sail around and across the ocean in. So he had this boat built. He hired a guy named Nick Bailey to design the boat. Nick Bailey is an architect who's famous for the cars in the London Eye. If you ever see pictures of London, you see that big Ferris wheel. Nick Bailey designed the cars, and he also designed this boat. And they spent a lot of time designing this boat, a lot of time and money getting all the details just right. They did the interior in a warehouse before they even started working on the interior to get all the heights of the cabinets right, where all the handholds are. Everything was thought out and planned out for accessibility so that this gentleman, Mike Brown, could sail his boat independently. It was designed to be independently sailed by someone in a wheelchair. So there's a lot of hydraulics and mechanical assistance so that you could raise the sails and then head off, sail off into the sunset. So Mike Brown had the boat built in Plymouth, England, by a company called Multi-Marine Composites, and they're famous for making a boat called the Daz Cat, D-A-Z Cat. They still make them today. This was one of the first Daz Cats ever made, and they built the boat, and Mike Brown sailed it around for many years. He went across the ocean from England to the Virgin Islands, sailed it back to England. He chartered it to a gentleman named Jeff Holtz, who is a quadriplegic, and Jeff sailed it across the ocean single-handed. He had to have two people on the boat, a caretaker and a photographer, but they were instructed not to help him with any of the sails or navigation of the boat. So he sailed, and there's a lot. If you Google the Jeff Holtz Impossible Dream, you'll see a lot of, because there was a BBC documentary, and it was very well publicized event. And he sailed across the ocean from England to the Virgin Islands, somewhere in the islands down there, and he made it. And he didn't have any problems. It was a pretty smooth trip, except they had light winds, so they were late getting to their destination, and they were running out of food a little bit at the end. They didn't run out of food completely, but they were down to the M&Ms and,
the good stuff.
The last couple of days they're eating M&Ms, rice, or whatever they had left. They were down to the bottom.
Was that a world record?
Well, it was the first time a quadriplegic had sailed across the ocean.
Nice.
Single-handed. Now, he had assistance because, I imagine you could go by yourself. I would caution against that. I don't think, I don't like sailing by myself, right? I personally do not like sailing large boats by myself. I've done it before, and I've gotten in trouble where I've thought, wow, if I mess up here, I'm gone, and no one's here to save me. So I don't even go sailing by myself on large boats, long distances like that. So anyway, he made it, and then Mike Brown decided it was time to sell the boat. He put it up for sale, and Deborah and Harry Horgan, Harry Horgan is the founder of the Shake a Leg Miami, and he got together with Deborah Mellon, who was a volunteer here at Shake a Leg. And Shake a Leg is an adaptive sailing center in Miami, Florida, where people come down and they can jump in a boat, and anybody really, not specifically people with disabilities, but it was founded to be to create an opportunity for people, especially people with disabilities, to go sailing and have access to the water sports here in Biscayne Bay. So he and Deborah went out to England, met with Mike Brown, they struck a deal, and then they brought the boat here to America, and they created the Impossible Dream Foundation, and that's who runs the boat today. So the boat, they shipped it across. They were going to sail it across. They had a crew that was willing to sail it, but it was a very rough winter, record-breaking as far as the high winds and that kind of thing in England. And there was no insurance company that would write the policy. So they put it on a ship and they shipped it over, and they took it off the ship in Savannah and sailed it to Miami. And that was the birth of the Impossible Dream Foundation here in the United States.
That's amazing. Paulina, tell us a little bit about the summer crew that you do from Miami to Maine and back again. Tell everybody a little bit about what you guys do.
Yeah, so the mission of the Impossible Dream is to promote, first of all, to promote universal accessibility. So this boat is a demonstration of that. So this boat was built from the ground up, and it's not just handicapped accessible. It's universally accessible. It's easier for me to get around, it's easier for Will to get around, and it's easier for Rob to get around. And the boat's even more beautiful and functional because it was designed to be accessible to everybody. So we're trying to spread that message and show people what that means in action. And then we're also just trying to improve the lives of people with disabilities through sailing. So just as simple as getting people the opportunity to go out on the water who may not have that opportunity otherwise. So what we do in the summers is we leave from Miami, and me and Will work full time for the summer. And then we'll have people like Rob who guest crew with us, and we'll come from anywhere. From this summer, we had longer legs because we didn't want as many crew turnovers with our COVID protocol. So this summer we had people on for as much as like 6 weeks at a time. And sometimes we'll have people on just for one overnight or just for one day sail. But this summer we did a little bit of longer legs. So we'll have guest crew members that come in and out for different portions of the trip. And as we go up the East Coast, we make many different stops. The whole trip takes about 4 months, 4 to 5 months, actually, depending on the year. So we'll make many different stops. And in each port of call, we partner with different disability organizations and hospitals in that city. So we'll maybe partner with a rehab hospital. Oh my God.
Sorry, we have a visitor.
She's cute.
So for example, in Boston, we'll partner with Spalding Hospital, and they actually that's one of my favorite stops because they actually take their inpatients, people who had spinal cord injuries or strokes or various other neurological issues happen within that like couple weeks or a month, who are currently in rehab, and for their therapy, they'll wheel them down to the boat or walk sometimes. And we're right there in front of the hospital. We'll take out their patients for a 2-hour sail with the therapist, and they'll even do like balance activities on board, and they'll make it into the therapy. So that's one of my favorite stops. Sometimes we'll take out people who are part of different support groups in the area, sometimes veterans groups, sometimes people at assisted living facilities or other organizations. So it just depends on what stop, but we do that all along the East Coast, up and down, as well as having our guest crew. So it's almost like 2 programs simultaneously in the summer. Our day sails with the groups in each port of call, and then our guest crew for multiple days at a time. And each experience is really different. Usually people start out, they meet us, they come out for a day sail, and if they seem interested and comfortable on the boat, they express their interest and we talk, and hopefully in the future we get them on as an actual crew member on the boat like the following year. So that's kind of like how Rob got involved. Well, actually, no, that's not really how Rob got involved, because he found out about us. But like some of our crew members, they'll just accidentally come on board as part of an organization that they're involved in, and then they'll really get excited about what we do and want to crew with us. So I love that part. I love like meeting people and living with people and crewing with people. I think that's such like a great experience for everybody. But yeah, so that's our summer trip, and we make how many stops? 14-ish?
I think it's 14 ports of call generally in the summer, but we're always adding new ones. So, next year, hopefully we'll be able to do our full programming with people on the boat, actually in the ports, taking 20 people at a time.
Right.
Yeah. So this year, it was obviously a little bit different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, my favorite port is Newport, because you guys get to come and see me, and I get to be on the boat. And let me tell you, being on the boat is truly, truly life-changing. I'll tell you, my first trip on the boat, I was very, very nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I've only been in a wheelchair for 6 years, so this was totally out of my comfort zone and everything. And you guys make everybody feel right at home. And what I want to make sure everybody knows is your sails are free. You don't charge people of disability and their families to sail. You are fully 100% on contributions, donations, and sponsors. This is what people need to understand, that they do this 4.5 to 5 month trip, and all the sails are free. So they need to survive on contributions and support from everybody else to keep this program going. Robert, tell us what it means to you to be able to be a guest crew on a sailboat that's so inclusive to you.
Well, it's amazing. I spent a lot of time, and you have, Tina, building your Habitat for Humanity. I spent a lot of time creating an environment that I can live in, and I can do anything and all the things that I need to do during the day. This boat, like, there are things on this boat that are so well thought of that I've incorporated ideas, design that is on this boat into my own life here. And when I'm a crewmate and there's, heavy weather because we're going through some type of situation, and, captain says, we need life jackets, get down. Not life jackets, I'm sorry. Well, actually, yeah, life jackets, because some people do go out on the back. Like, I can take the elevator lift down into the hull, get to the life jackets, bring them up, and I can get into all 4 berths. There's, 4 sleeping quarters in all the boat. There's 2 bathrooms; those are completely accessible. The kitchen, if it's a nice day, the seas are calm, I can help cook with the crew, do a lot of cleanup for the crew. I can clean up, obviously, all around outside of the boat. You've seen the boat. And, I encourage anybody that's listening to this to check out our YouTube channel. And that really gives you a perspective of the whole boat. And I think Paulina has done a great job this year to videotape a lot of what we do and how the accessibility benefits somebody. So personally, when, as I mentioned earlier, when Will invited me to guest crew, I had a sense of what that would be like. Been on boats for maybe half days at a time, full days in a regatta. Maybe we stayed out for 8 hours, but never have we stayed out for 24 hours for like 4, 5, 6 days in a row. And it's quite intimidating to and accept an invitation like that. And when you see the way the Impossible Dream is designed, like I say, it's like being at home. It has all the things that you'd want for accessibility, to also be a contribution to the team. You're not asking for the crew, the team, to do things for you, because you can actually do the opposite, which is to help benefit the mission of the dream. Getting the boat to these ports where it really pays off when you get there and you see the effort that you went through to get there, and then you get to take all these people out like you, Tina, and it's just amazing just to be able to bring this boat, to bring this accessible design all the way up and down the East Coast. It's really wonderful.
It is, like I said, it's truly amazing what you guys do. And one of my bucket list goals since I've met the Impossible Dream is to take my manual wheelchair one of these times and actually come and spend a day or a night with you guys and, check out, to get the full experience, because I hear all about that part. I just haven't been able to do that part yet. But I was able to sail the Impossible Dream because my wheelchair could pull right up to the controls and everything. And they trusted me to sail the boat, which I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but we're all still alive and I'm here to talk about it, so it was a good thing. But it's just so amazing.
You did great.
Give us some of the websites and give us some of the ways that people can contribute and help out and follow along.
Yeah, so our main website is www.theimpossibledream.org. Easy to remember. And we'll list that under this podcast when we post it and stuff like that. So I'll be in writing. And from there, you can get to everything. From there, you can get to our donation page. And that'll also give you information about our YouTube page. What we're doing this year, which is really unique to other years, in order to adapt to COVID. Normally, we take out 1,000 people every summer with disabilities. So this year, we've been making YouTube videos along the way. So we've had our guest crew and we've been making YouTube videos. I think we have almost either 7 or 8 already up right now from this season. And it just shows you a little peek into what life on board is like, interviews with the crew, different activities that we do as a crew, and what it's like to sail with us, since we couldn't have as many people on board this year. So if you can go to our YouTube channel, which if you go to YouTube, it's Impossible Dream Catamaran, and that should come up with our YouTube. And please subscribe, because when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, that really helps us out. The more subscribers we can get, the better it is for us, and the more people will watch our videos. And it actually helps us get donations and make money off of YouTube, which could be like great for our organization and what we're trying to do this summer. So please subscribe to the channel if you like the videos and share them with your friends. But yeah, it's a fun peek into what life's like on board, and it really gives a good picture of what we do and what our mission is. And then on our website, you'll see the big donate button. So don't hesitate to click that one either.
Well, another great thing that you guys did this summer was, while you were sailing in the different ports, you did live sales. You were live on Facebook doing live sales to give people. I know I got to do the one out of Newport and be your MC for a little bit and guide through Newport, which was amazing. But being able to sit at home during COVID in a time like this and seeing the beautiful scenery that was out there, and to seeing what you guys can do, and that there is life still going on out around us, even though we can't participate right now, was truly amazing. I can't thank you guys enough for what you do. I mean, like I said, if you can't tell, I truly believe in this program. Will, tell us some ways of great sponsorships that you could get, or how people can contribute.
Well, I mean, the first thing is to watch our videos and like us on Facebook, and then share it with your friends, because we've worked very hard to create these videos and these virtual experiences for people, and we want now to share it. And so the more people that see it, the really amazing thing about doing the virtual experiences is we've done all this work, and now it can continue to bring joy to people and comfort people who are, not able to go out, for, obvious reasons. And so, we want as many people to watch this as possible. That's the most important thing right now. And then, if you know someone who's a philanthropist or someone who has a connection to this issue, and that you feel that they would look at this and they would say, wow, this is amazing, I want to help these guys out. Well, then introduce us to them and say, these guys are working really hard to make life better for people, and they can use some help along the way. So that's basically the most important things, but really getting people to watch it, because it's really so great when you hear somebody say, you make a video, you don't know where it goes, you don't know what happened. It just goes out there into the internet,
Right.
and you have no idea until someone comes back to you and says, oh, I watched your video and it was so great, and you guys are having so much fun, and it's nice to see. And then, so that's, really, to watch the videos, to share them, and to give us feedback about how you feel about the videos, and if you like them or not, and if it brought you some joy and it helped you out a little bit, please tell us, because, we want to know that stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And like I said, we can't go by without really getting into depth about Deborah and Harry, because there can't be two more amazing people in this world. Like I said, I had such a connection with both of them instantly. I talk to them all the time online. But tell us a little bit about each of them. And, I know that they're both in wheelchairs too. And why this is so passionate to them.
Well, Harry Horgan, we discussed him a little bit. He's the founder of Shake a Leg, and he was injured in a car accident when he was young in college. And he just, when you have these kinds of experiences, you move forward in your life and you try to make something happen. And you try to make your life better and the lives of people around you better. So that's what Harry did. He created Shake a Leg because he enjoyed sailing before his accident, and he wanted to enjoy sailing after his accident. So he started Shake a Leg, which was an adaptive sailing center. It started in Newport and then moved down here to Miami. And he created an amazing institution down here in Miami where people can come and go sailing. And like I said, it's not just people with disabilities. They have a summer camp here that has 400 kids at a time in the summertime. And it's really amazing to see that summer camp, because you have people, all sorts of challenges in their life, people in chairs, kids on the spectrum, and then right side by side with just, kids who have other challenges, more normal challenges in their life, and they are mentors. They have a mentorship program, and so everybody's playing together. So it's really amazing to see this, this camp experience where people, across the whole spectrum are all, doing their summer camp together and having fun and playing in the water, and everybody's helping each other out. So that's what Harry created here in Miami. And then, he's an amazing guy. He's been at this for over 30 years. And Deborah was a volunteer here at Shake a Leg. So one of the programs they have here at Shake a Leg, in conjunction with the University of Miami Physical Therapy School, and Paulina was actually a student there. So she did this program, and they have a program called the UMPT. What is it called exactly?
It's just a sailing elective.
Elective.
For that course, it's students who are physical therapy students come to Shake a Leg, and we learn how to sail with skippers who have disabilities. So the people that are teaching us how to sail are people with disabilities. So it's this great way to learn a new skill and also learn how to relate to somebody with a disability, learn when to help somebody with a disability, when not to help somebody, just like learn that whole communication, because that's new. And a lot of people that are becoming physical therapists have never really experienced that before. Like I'd never really worked with anybody with a disability before physical therapy school. So that was like an amazing thing. And the sailing is almost just like an added bonus on top of all this other stuff that you learn from that course, and being at a place like Shake a Leg, where it's super inclusive and it's people, able-bodied people and people with disabilities just working together as equals, teaching each other. So that was one of the programs that Harry created, which was pretty amazing.
Right.
Here.
So Deborah was one of the teachers in that program. She's in a wheelchair, and she came down here. It's every Friday for almost 2 months. And she taught people how to sail. She's taught physical therapy students how to sail. And that's how, one of the ways she volunteered here in Shake a Leg, and that's how she met Harry Horgan and developed that relationship. So Harry had always wanted to have a flagship, a vessel that would travel up and down the East Coast, or as far as it could go, you know, worldwide. I think Harry has no limit to his vision. And he always wanted to have a flagship. So when this boat came up for sale, he and Deborah had been talking, and they said, hey, let's go to England and take a look at this boat and see what it's all about. So when they went out there, they saw the boat, they met with Mike Brown, and I believe it was Mike Brown's birthday. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but they sat down at a round table and they hammered out a deal, and Mike was very happy to let it go to Shake a Leg for a very, very good price, because he liked what would happen to his baby. You know, this boat obviously is very meaningful in his life, and he was happy to see it continue on doing great things, you know, beyond what he did with it. So Deborah is an amazing woman. She's a businesswoman. She has been in a chair for 30 plus years and has not let that stop her from living her best life and enjoying, all the potential and the beauty that life has to offer. And so she, when she came upon this opportunity, she went with it. She went for it with Harry, and they acquired the boat, and then they founded the Impossible Dream. And that was, once they got the boat, they were like, well, what do we do with the boat? And then it kind of grew organically from that. We take people sailing, and then, we could go from here to Maine and back and take people sailing all along the way. And it just, from there, it just built and built and built to doing racing to Mexico, racing to Cuba. We raced to Cuba about 4 or 5 years ago. We did that race and, took our message to the people of Cuba, which is really interesting when you go to a different country where, perceptions and accessibility is completely different and often not as accessible as the United States. And so, when people see a boat with someone in a wheelchair on the bow and it's coming into a port and everybody's like, wow, look at that. That person's up on the bow of that boat yachting, in a wheelchair. Enjoying their life. Wow,
it's
that's
amazing.
great.
Like, yeah. Even here in Newport, you see all of the faces when all of us wheel on or wheel off, or, you know what I mean? Throughout the years, people have so many questions and they want to know more and they want to get involved. And, then we had the fundraisers here a couple of times, and just to watch people and to see the awe of them seeing the boat, like people in wheelchairs and people are able-bodied and different abilities can all work together like it's just normal, and that's what it should be. It should just be normal. Robert, have you met Deborah and Harry at this point, and what were your thoughts and feelings about them?
Well, I have met Harry through sailing smaller boats and being a participant at Shake a Leg. I've been down to Shake a Leg for some of their winter programs when I was living in the Northeast and in the Mid-Atlantic. It was a great escape to get down there in the wintertime and sail on his regular fleet of boats, which will help me. But I think it's like 20 boats, get 15 boats down there that are all accessible. And then I hadn't met Deborah.
Yeah, they have a lot of boats.
But I didn't meet Deborah until she came up to race in the Sol de Sol from St. Petersburg to Mexico, and I never forget meeting her. She came into a dinner at the club when they were getting ready to race, and she's just a really beautiful person with a really beautiful mission, and she absolutely lives it, and she instills that message into Will, or Will has the same kind of compassion too, and they just worked well together, and the two of them, and then have Paulina come on board as first mate. Like everybody involved in the Impossible Dream has that same idea. So that's basically how I met Deborah.
It just feels that everybody who ever comes in contact is a lifelong family member, because I know all of the people that I have met just in the short stint that you guys come up to Newport. Because if you guys are here for a week, I try to come up at least every day to come up and see you guys, because I just love what you guys do. And I've met so many wonderful people. And then through following the Impossible Dream, many people have followed me back, and we started talking, and we've shared stories, and we shared experiences. And I feel like I haven't even met these people, but we have a common bond that we all love the Impossible Dream and what it stands for and what it does for everybody. So you guys are bonding people, from Miami to Maine, at least, if not the world, because like I said, I haven't met anybody who's known or met you guys that just has not fallen in love with you guys. And I bring it to all of my elected officials, and I reach out to everybody and every press, because you guys need every ounce of promotion, because without donations from wonderful people to keep this mission going, and people don't realize how important this mission is, because unlike me or Harry or somebody who wasn't born into the disability community, we kind of fell into it accidentally. Mine was a surgery that happened overnight. Harry's was an accident. That anybody could end up like us, and to have something so beautiful and so wonderful to be a part of, people don't realize how important that really is. Paulina, give us that website again, just so that we make sure that people keep hearing it.
Yeah, so it's www.theimpossibledream.org.
And click that donate button.
There should be a donate button right there. If you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. And you can follow those links. And we're actually, if you are interested in what we do and upcoming events and like following us during our summer tour, if you sign up for our mailing list, you'll get all that information. And you'll also get the information when we do our big fundraisers. We're probably going to do one for Giving Tuesday, and just like a few throughout the year to raise money for our next big voyage that we're going to do. So keep an eye out for those and sign up for the email list, or donate now if you want to.
Yeah, because when you guys came out to Newport, we'll go back to what you say, but when you guys came out to Newport, you guys had a small mishap with the boat. Well, it wasn't small mishap, but you guys had some engine trouble or something with the boat. So things like that is what really, pulls into where you guys need the donations to make sure that you guys can keep going and make sure that no one's missing out on that sale, especially like when they know you're coming and now the boat is delayed because it has to go through maintenance or something like that. How do you guys deal with that? Or, how do you guys fix that?
Well, that particular situation in Newport, we lost a propeller and we were having transmission problems. Volvo Penta is a sponsor of ours. So our engines and transmissions are Volvo Penta, and they gave us over $20,000 of parts when we were in Newport to fix the boat. So that's, it's still expensive. It was, pretty much that amount again to get it all installed and fixed, and the new propellers. Yeah. But without Volvo, I mean, forget it. We wouldn't be going. So they're one of our most amazing sponsors. And in fact, we stopped there on the way up, and they helped. They have an amazing facility, and we stopped there, and they helped us fix our lift one of our hydraulic lifts, which on this boat, everything is custom. So all those parts are custom designed parts. And they fabricated parts for us. And now we're going to be able to fix our other side of our lift on the other side, and we'll be able to use both sides of the boat. So, I mean, we don't function without support from the community, without help. It just doesn't happen without that. And there's so many people along the way that give us a hand. And it's really amazing how it all comes together.
Yeah. And the other thing that people need to realize is you guys stay on the boat the whole time for that 4.5 months. So when you have engine trouble, it must make it a little nerve-wracking. Like, can we stay on the boat while they're fixing it? Or, do we have to find other accommodations? What is something like that, like the stress of something like that?
Well, I mean, it's like someone's building an engine in your living room. We were there. We were actually staying on the boat while it was out of the water. So they take the boat out of the water and they put it in a parking lot, basically on blocks. And we were still living on the boat while they were working on it. And we were working on the boat. I worked on the boat. Wow, I put so much work into it this summer when we were in the boatyard. So, just to keep costs down and all of that. So, I'm greasy every day coming in, but they have nice showers at the facility, so that works out really well. But yeah, it's a challenge. This boat is this is the hardest job I've ever had, without a doubt.
And it's just like,
but it must be one of the most rewarding too.
Very much so.
That's what makes it worth it.
Very much so. Yes, it is.
But anybody who has a boat, I think, can relate to the fact that there's definitely always something that needs to be fixed, and there's always something that needs to be broken. So that's why it's so important for us to have those donations and be on top of that, because we do have a schedule, and every summer we have 1,000 people that we're trying to help and trying to get to. So having that like fundraising at the beginning of the year is so important, so we have that security that we'll be able to make that whole trip and get to all the rehab centers and hospitals and people that we want to take out on the water every year. So it's really great, like, to have a good fundraising season in the winter so we can be prepared for our summer trip, because inevitably something's going to go wrong. That's just the life on a boat.
Yeah. With time running short, Robert, give everybody one last sense that you want to leave everybody with about the impossible dream. What's the impression you want to leave everybody with?
Wow. So I just, the mission of the Impossible Dream is to show that through thoughtful design, the world is accessible. The world in the water, the world on land, everywhere. And to have access to the impossible dream, to have that running, to have that, gift, whatever you want to say, to 1,000 individuals every summer. It's just amazing that I know personally what that ripple effect is for the rest of my life. As I live my life through the rest of the year that I'm not on the boat, parts of the, whenever I come off the boat, and I see that through every single person that comes aboard in a wheelchair and gets to experience the accessibility plus the benefits that the water brings to somebody's life. Being on the water is in itself like just an amazing life-changing thing. When you're on the water, there's so many parameters in the world that go away. Like time is not the same when you're on the water. You're at the mercy of the wind. You're at the mercy of the waves, the currents, just nature. And when you can put yourself into that and just live in that for whatever time you're on the boat, whether it's 2 hours or weeks at a time. It's just amazing. So I want to keep this boat going. I want this mission to keep going, and I'm sure that it will with the stewardship of Will and Paulina and Deborah and Harry. and everybody else that
And
helped
just
along
so-
the way. And thank
yeah.
you, Tina, for helping us.
And just
promote
so
it.
everybody knows, it's not just for wheelchair users, because service dogs have been on the boat as well, because I have met many beautiful dogs along the way on our sail, especially Winter is one of my favorites.
Yes.
That's Deborah.
Yeah.
That's Deborah's dog. So they make it even that much more special. Paulina, give us your final thoughts and what you want to leave everybody with about the Impossible Dream.
I think I'll leave everybody with just like a little story that I thought of when you were talking before about how people see us or see people in wheelchairs on the bow of the boat when we're going through ports, and how that kind of changes their perspective. And sometimes when I'm so close to the organization, it's sometimes hard to see like how much it's actually affecting people outside of my little bubble of being on the boat. So actually, when you were on board this year, Tina, in Newport, when we came up to the dock and we pulled up and we picked up Elsa, and you were doing the Facebook Live and you were narrating what we were doing. We pulled up to the dock, she rolled right on the boat, came up on the lift, and then we took off again and we did our tour of the bay. And we actually got an amazing Facebook message after that. There is somebody, I didn't see her at the time, but there was somebody in a wheelchair just on land who was watching the water, and they saw us pulled up. They saw somebody in a wheelchair come down the dock by herself, get on the boat by herself without any assistance, and then sail off. And she sent us like this amazing Facebook message about how that, just seeing that changed her life and changed her perspective of what she felt like she could do. And, how she wants to be involved next year when we come back to Newport. And it's just amazing. Like, we get to see it every day, but we forget that there's people that have never seen that before, never knew that sailing could be accessible to them, or being on a boat could be accessible to them in a way where they're independent, So like seeing those little messages and comments from people, like, I don't know, that it's amazing. Like, and it changed my life working for an organization that does that and being able to support that mission. So that's my message.
And I think the other thing is it's not only accessible, it's beautiful. So just because you guys made it accessible, it took no beauty away from it. And I think that's what impresses people the most is, people think, oh, I don't want it to look handicapped, or I don't want it to look like that. But making it accessible doesn't take away from the beauty of it. And when I'm in Newport and I do those Facebook Lives or all the videos I've done, I get tons of messages like that. Like, I can't believe you're on a boat in your chair, and I can't believe you're doing this. Like, it just reaches so many people. All right, Will, you're up. What are the last words you would like to leave everybody with about the Impossible Dream?
Well, come sailing with us. We do the East Coast. We're here in Miami. God willing, next summer it's going to be even better, and we'll be able to do our normal thing where we take out 20 people at a time, and we'll take out more than 1,000 people next summer. And that's the thing, it's really about just having a normal life, that somebody can go sailing, that you can go sailing. And so many people like without disabilities don't get to go sailing because, of whatever circumstances or where they live or their economic situation. So, it's really just about going sailing, having fun, and having a normal day out on the water, and really being able to enjoy the marine environment, which is so beautiful. And there's a whole industry based on going out on the water. People love it, and for a good reason, because it's awesome. So, we're going to do this trip again. We're going to take people out again. Watch our YouTube videos. Take a look at our website. If you like what we're doing, help us out, and then come sailing with us this summer. We take out over 1,000 people with disabilities and family members. Often that's one of the really special things about it is, you see someone come with her daughter, or, the whole family with mother, father, daughter, and the brothers and sisters, and everybody has a good time. And so it's, it's a real family event in that sense. So, come sailing with us.
And the nice thing about the Impossible Dream is you're all now red bag carriers. For all you who don't know what the red bag is, it's carrying all of your medical information on you at all time that's non-tech based. So when you're out in the water and stuff and there's no compound for you, all of your information readily available so that you're safe in your thing. And the entire crew, possible any visitors that were down here are now red bag carriers. Make sure you go to www.rampisinclusion.com, and you're ready today. I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time out and being on my podcast tonight. Like I said, if anybody can't tell by now, this is a near and dear, like I said, I value you as much as I value my own organization, RAMP. The next words usually out of my mouth is, have you heard about the Impossible Dream? If they've talked to me for 3 minutes, they have heard about the Impossible Dream. You guys are absolutely amazing. I love everything you do. So visit www.theimpossibledream.org. Click that donate button and make sure that they have the means to keep this organization going, because look at these amazing smiling faces, and what you see here is how they truly are. You'll get to meet Harry and Deborah and the rest of the crew, and you guys will not be disappointed. Just go down to one of the ports that they stop in and see the boat. Introduce yourself, see what they do. You will fall in love like I did, whether you're disabled or not. Just go and fall in love with the boat. See how beautiful it is and see what they do. I can't say any more than I can about this because I could go on for hours. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here tonight, and share this video out as much as possible so everybody hears about the Impossible Dream, because you guys are truly the rock stars in my world.
Thank you so much,
So thank
Tina.
you.
Your support means so much to us. And I appreciate you
anytime.
talking about us and spreading the word and coming on the boat every year. So we can't wait to see you next year.
Yeah, thank you, Tina.
Anytime. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, we'll be spreading the word, and you definitely can count on me for next year. You know I'm first on the list. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining. Bye, guys.
Thank you.